A young man named Lee is browsing an online shopping platform called Target, which specializes in secondhand items. He sends his address to a female seller even though they've never met. Lee is actually looking to sell his old laptop to her. Meanwhile, we meet Soo Hyun, the office manager at a business firm, who is reprimanding her team for their mistakes. As a result, her boss also scolds her, revealing that he has a soft spot for her. During lunch, Soo Hyun shares her troubles with a broken washing machine with her colleague Diju. Struggling financially, Dalja suggests that Soo Hyun check out the Target site, where she can find an affordable secondhand washing machine. Lee, the young man we met at the start, receives a message from the female seller he's been chatting with. She lets him know that her brother will be picking up the laptop shortly. Suddenly, a mysterious man appears at Lee's door and brutally stabs him multiple times in the stomach, resulting in his death. This stranger is revealed to be a serial killer who targets his victims through the Target website. Afterward, the killer lists all of Lee's belongings on the site to profit from them. It becomes clear that he initially poses as a buyer to extort money from his victims before ultimately murdering them. Our heroine soon becomes a victim of this sinister scheme. She browses the Target website and finds a second-hand washing machine, messaging the seller to make a purchase. However, when the machine is delivered to her home, she discovers it's nothing but junk. Angry, she tries to reach the owner, but he doesn't answer his phone. Frustrated, Soo Hyun decides to file a complaint against him at the police station, suspecting he might be a scammer. Detectives Na and Ju view the case as minor but assure her they will track down the scammer. Once home, she digs deep into the owner's profile and discovers an old laptop that belonged to Lee, the murder victim. This revelation suggests that the man who sold the washing machine to her is actually the serial killer. Unaware of the owner's true identity, Soo Hyun warns others in the comments not to send money to him, claiming he's a scammer and mentioning her police report. Meanwhile, the serial killer learns about Soo Hyun's actions. He has a sophisticated hacking system that allows him to access all of her online information. The following day at work, Soo Hyun realizes that her boss's way of speaking resembles that of a scam artist, leading her to suspect him as the culprit. Later on, her phone begins to ring incessantly with numerous scam calls, and she receives a flood of messages from unfamiliar numbers. This chaos is a result of a serial killer who has taken her personal information and shared it on various websites to purchase unnecessary items. To make matters worse, that evening, several delivery drivers show up at her home, and Soo Hyun fears that the scammer has discovered her address. The next morning, as she leaves for work, she posts a note on her door instructing delivery personnel not to come to her house, warning that the police will be notified if they do. Feeling that the scammer has gone too far, Soo Hyun decides to visit the police station, urging them to investigate her case immediately. Detectives reassure her that they are actively working on the case. That night, Soo Hyun goes out with Daljo and they enjoy a few drinks. As she arrives home, we see the serial killer watching her from a distance. The following day, a mechanic shows up to inspect the water sprinklers, which is odd since they had never malfunctioned before. However, she brushes it off and leaves for work. Later that afternoon, she receives a strange text from her brother, urgently asking for money. When she tries to call him, his phone is off, indicating that the serial killer is impersonating her brother to request funds. That night, she hears a noise at her door, and the electric lock opens on its own. A man suddenly appears, asking if she is the woman he paid for intimacy. Soo Hyun quickly realizes that the scammer has hacked her electric lock and is sending random men to her home, leaving her in a state of panic. She contacts the detectives, causing the distant man to flee in fear. Moments later, Soo Hyun receives a chilling message from an unknown number stating, "I am coming to meet you in 5 minutes." Overwhelmed with horror, she sets a timer for 5 minutes. As the timer expires, the door swings open automatically, revealing another man at her apartment. Just as things seem to take a turn for the worse, Detective Ju arrives just in time to apprehend him. The following day, it comes to light that the man had intended to meet Soo Hyun for an intimate encounter, having received the address from an unidentified source. Later that night, the serial killer sends a menacing message to Soo Hyun, warning her that her death is imminent and that he is tired of playing games. Terrified, she promptly alerts the police. After an extensive investigation, the detectives finally track down the scammer's hideout, only to find it devoid of personal items except for a deep freezer in the corner. When they open it, they are horrified to discover the lifeless body of Lee, revealing that this is indeed his residence. It finally dawns on everyone that they are dealing with a serious case, and the suspect is a serial killer. While investigating, it becomes clear that the individual who came to repair the water sprinklers at Soo Hyun's apartment was actually the murderer. He had cleverly hidden a camera inside the sprinkler system to monitor her during the night. One evening, Soo Hyun senses that someone has entered her home, so she thoroughly checks every corner but finds no one there except herself. The next day, the serial killer follows her back to her apartment. When her boss arrives for a visit, she refuses to let him in, suspecting he might be the scammer. Despite her protests, her boss, appearing to be intoxicated, attempts to force his way inside. In her fear, Soo Hyun slams the door, injuring his hand in the process. Later, she discovers her bathroom in disarray, as if someone had just taken a bath, and finds food scattered in the kitchen, suggesting someone had recently cooked there. Suddenly, her computer powers on by itself, displaying a message that reads, "Today you came home early." Terrified by this, Soo Hyun quickly contacts the detectives. When they arrive to investigate, they find no fingerprints at all, indicating that the serial killer is highly skilled at covering his tracks. The harassment escalates when the killer contacts Soo Hyun the following day, revealing that he knows her bank details. Moments later, he drains her account, pushing our troubled heroine to the brink of madness. Meanwhile, the detectives start to take the case more seriously. One day, Detective Ju waits outside Hyun's home, hoping to catch the perpetrator. Suddenly, the killer smashes the detective's car window, rendering him unconscious. Just as he pulls out a knife ready to strike, a noise nearby distracts him. He then heads towards Soo Hyun's house, intent on killing her that night. At the same time, Soo Hyun's boss arrives to apologize for his previous actions. Spotting the killer, who is dressed casually, he mistakenly believes Soo Hyun is having an affair. Angered, he begins to insult the man, leading to a violent confrontation where the killer brutally stabs the boss, ending his life. When Soo Hyun finally makes her way back to the apartment, the killer has already concealed the body and slipped inside unnoticed. As she relaxes on the sofa, her gaze lands on the water sprinkler and she notices the flickering lights of a camera. This prompts her to inspect all the sprinklers, leading her to suspect that the killer may have installed cameras throughout the apartment. While she's examining them, she stumbles upon a chilling sight, her boss's lifeless body hidden in a corner. Just then, the door creaks open behind her, and the serial killer appears, launching an immediate attack that knocks Soo Hyun unconscious. Meanwhile, Detective Ju regains consciousness, and Detective Na arrives at the scene. The two detectives pursue the killer's vehicle, where Soo Hyun is being held captive. They navigate through narrow streets, but disaster strikes when a truck collides with Detective Na's car, leaving him critically injured and causing the killer's car to flip over. Despite his injuries, the killer manages to flee the scene. After the tragic accident, Soo Hyun and Detective Na are quickly taken to the hospital. While Soo Hyun manages to recover after a few days, Detective Na unfortunately succumbs to his injuries. When Detective Ju delivers the heartbreaking news of his partner's death, Soo Hyun falls into a deep depression, feeling responsible for the loss of so many lives. Once she is discharged from the hospital, she devises a plan to finally catch the serial killer. Teaming up with Detective Ju again, they create a strategy to expose the murderer. They log into Target website, set up a fake profile of a girl, and upload a photo to lure the killer. Soon, he reaches out to the fake profile, asking to meet for a product delivery. Disguised, Soo Hyun goes to meet him, but he senses something is off. Realizing he might be onto their plan, she excuses herself to the restroom and quickly calls Detective Ju for help. The killer unexpectedly ambushes her from behind, knocking her out and taking her away. He arrives at his office building and waits for the detective to arrive. After a while, Soo Hyun regains consciousness and manages to lock herself on the balcony. She quickly calls Detective Ju to inform him of her situation. Just as the killer tries to reach her by smashing the window with an axe, Detective Ju arrives and confronts him. A fierce struggle ensues, with both men stabbing each other as they fight for their lives. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun finds an automatic nail hammer and drives a nail into the killer, but he still doesn't go down. Instead, he turns his attention to her, and in a brutal fight, he nearly stabs her. Fortunately, Detective Ju intervenes, attacking the killer from behind and sending him tumbling off the balcony onto a car below. Despite the fall, the struggle continues until Soo-hyun manages to restrain the killer, giving Detective Ju the chance to strangle him and finally end the threat. This murder mystery has finally reached its conclusion, and after a few days of reflection, Soo-hyun gradually slips back into her normal routine, yet the experience has left a lasting mark on her, providing a profound awareness of the dangers lurking in the online world. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing for more content like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications and give us a thumbs up to support the channel. Thanks for watching.